Hello, everybody, and welcome to day number 4 of optical illusions. Super excited to be here with you. And so you might have to pause the video occasionally today when we actually get to the art part, because it's an impossible shape. So you might have to kind of pause because your brain might get a little confused from time to time. But some of you might have actually done this project before. Before we begin drawing our impossible shapes, we're going to talk about what impossible shapes are in terms of optical illusions. Okay, so here is the slideshow, and here's like a first example of an impossible shape. Look really carefully. What do you notice? What do you see in this shape? To me, it kind of looks like a teardrop, right? But when I look more carefully, this artist tried to draw it in 3 dimensions, right? Trying to give it some perspective. And so what happens is I'm starting to get confused because as I follow from the top of the shape down to the bottom, it's kind of hard for my brain to imagine the shape actually existing in real life. Now, artists can draw impossible shapes quite easily with simple mathematical tricks, right? When we try to recreate these shapes in 3 dimensions, like say you were going to make a sculpture, it actually becomes quite difficult. And so I'm actually going to show you a video again by Zach King, and he uses Legos to demonstrate perspective and kind of camera tricks to make these impossible shapes actually work, okay? And so here is another example of an impossible shape. Take a look. It kind of looks like an oval, but it's 3-dimensional, so of course it wouldn't be called an oval. Can this shape exist in real life? Or can it just be drawn with simple tricks like shading? Look really carefully. Follow the oval around and around and see if it actually makes sense. Does it make sense to you? It's pretty tricky, right? All right. Here's another impossible shape. Follow one of the lines and try to follow it around the shape and see if this shape can actually exist in real life. It can't. It can exist in 2 dimensions drawn on a piece of paper, but when we think about it in 3 dimensions, it's really tricky to actually see if this can exist. Our mind just kind of moves in and out and tries to figure it out, but it's really difficult. All right, so here we go. So here is the actual art part of our day. We're going to draw what's called a Penrose. And a Penrose is also called an impossible triangle. And we're going to talk more about this also next week when we're together. But today we're going to practice drawing a Penrose. But before we do, I'm going to show Zach King's video. You can see here he actually has a 3-dimensional Lego Penrose. But you're going to notice this is at the end of the video. It's actually a trick of photography and where the camera is positioned. This shape cannot exist in real life. It's pretty cool. All right, so get ready. We're going to watch Zach King's video. Here it goes.
What's up, everybody? I've got some Lego illusions today that I'm really excited to show you. Wait, you guys are rolling. Lego illusions are fantastic, so I've got a bunch. Guys, we're rolling. Jaden, seriously? That's the studio for you. Me and Clark here at the studio took about a day to make these Lego illusions for you, and we're very excited to show you. So we've got them set up right around the corner. I want to show you this first one, which is a chair illusion. So this first one is fun. This is a classic illusion, which you may have seen before, but not in Lego format. There's our little minifig just chilling, sitting on a chair, you know, normal day, except, oh wait, he's really big, and this chair up here is really tiny and actually distorted. These are some of my favorite illusions because they're about lining it up just right, tricking your eye into seeing something that you're used to seeing, but in this case, we've played a trick with you when we reveal, and I just love that, it's so fun. So this is the Lego hero, and this is his little seat that we had him sitting on here. So he's also a flashlight. If there's ever an emergency at the studio, I'm running to grab this first. Let's move on to the next illusion. I saw this Lego illusion actually built online, and I had to recreate it to see if it's actually real. And I love it because it's another one of those, place it at the right angles and this eye trick happens to you. So they're placed at 45-degree angles each, and this is the real setup that you've got. It's actually placed on the floor, just barely touching the corners there, and when you line it up just right, you get this cool, is it up or down illusion. Don't get me wrong, I love Legos, but they're way too overpriced, so luckily, I've got a little magic up my sleeve. No, just kidding, I actually have to buy them too. Also, did you know Legos are about 10 cents a piece on average? So, even the little baby ones. This is another take on a classic illusion that's well known, and we Legofied it here. So it starts with no, and then if you turn it around this way, it turns into yes. And you tell me if you think these really line up. I feel like the no is a little wonky, but that's kind of the best I could do. I like to do just okay work around here. I don't know, you tell me down below in the comments if you think that works. For this next illusion, we actually need to go outside for some better light. All right, let's see if we can figure out the angle on this one. So this is an impossible triangle that you have to line up just perfectly to get it right. You have to have good lighting for it, and it works quite well. I think it does better in a photo probably. So let me know down in the comments which Lego illusion you enjoyed the most that we created, and don't forget to subscribe. And I've got a special Lego illusion for that.
All right, so that was super fun. All kinds of fun tricks again by Zach King. And let's try to advance it. Oh, here we go. Boop. So this is the Penrose. And so this is what we're going to be doing today. And it is an impossible shape, meaning we can draw it in 2 dimensions. But when we try to build it out in 3 dimensions, it's really difficult unless you're standing at a very specific angle. And if you notice at the end of Zach King's video, it's not a complete shape. It almost looks kind of like, I don't know, like almost like the letter L. And until he actually put it in the right angle, you couldn't actually see the impossible triangle. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to draw it, and it's a lot simpler than you think. All right, so you are going to need a pencil today, and if you have color, like 3 colors, you can use your primary colors, blue, red, and yellow. That works quite well. Or you can use any 3 colors. You can even just use pencil shading today. It's really up to you. So here we go. And for those of you that saw this next slide right here, this is what we're going to talk about next week. It's more impossible shapes, more impossible illusions, and an artist named MC Escher. And it's pretty cool. And Zach King actually builds this really amazing waterfall in 3 dimensions. And we're going to talk about it. So get excited for next week. It's going to be super fun. Okay, so here we go. We're moving on to the Penrose. And I'm going to show you what it looks like right here. So this is just, I used some marker and I used the 3 primary colors. So I used yellow, red, and blue. Okay. And if you look really carefully, again, it's a shape that we can easily draw, but it's very, very difficult to build it out in 3 dimensions. So we're going to experiment today and try to break it down into very simple shapes and simple lines so that we really understand how we can do this. And again, you might have to pause the video from time to time. Please do. And you can rewind it if you need to catch up. And this video will always be available for you. All right, so here we go. I'm going to switch over to my sketchbook. Okay, so here it goes. And whoop, there we go. Make it a little bigger. All right. And today you can use your paper vertically or horizontally, but give yourself some time to get your piece of paper ready and get a pencil. You're going to want to have some kind of room to erase today, but you can use a pen too if you'd like. Okay. All right, here we go. Make sure that you have your art supplies ready to go. I'm going to kind of adjust this so you can see it a little bit better. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to draw a triangle. All right. And it's not your everyday triangle. It's actually a triangle on its side. So here it goes. We're going to make a tiny vertical line down just like this, almost like in the middle of our paper. Okay. And you can see it's not too big. It's just it's kind of tiny, right? Now we're going to draw the letter V on its side. So here it goes. Letter V on its side. And you can see now that it's a three-sided triangle, just kind of on its side, right? Almost like we're going to start drawing a fish or something. All right, now we're going to draw some lines that kind of move out from the triangle, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to pretend like I'm drawing the letter P right now, like popcorn. So I'm going to start here and just kind of imagine I'm drawing a line. Then when I get to the bottom, I'm going to extend out a little line like this, like I'm drawing a letter P. The next line, I'm going to go up to the middle of the P, right about here, and go all the way to this corner right here and extend out just a little bit. And if you can, look at how long this line is and try to match it right here. Sometimes you can use the end of your pen and just kind of measure and then kind of work it over here. Okay? And if it's not exactly the same, that's okay too. All right, so I started here, I moved over to this corner, and now I'm going to take this corner and walk it up slowly, 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 and extend the line out this way. And again, we want to try to make them similar sizes, right? This is a pretty cool shape just as it is, right? All right. Now we're going to move on to the next step. All right, I want to find the very, very bottom of the letter P right here. Now I'm going to make a copycat diagonal line, and it's going to stretch just beyond this line. I'll show you what I mean. Watch this. I'm going to go very slowly, trying to go the same distance across, and I'm just going to go a little bit beyond, just like that. See where this one stops? You want this one to go a little bit further. And you see how the distance between this line and this line is about the same as we go across. Okay? If they're different, not to worry, it will still work. Okay, now to do the next step, you need to find that letter P again, right? And find this corner here. And we're going to walk up to the end, right about here. Now I'm going to do the same step, drawing a diagonal kind of copycat line, going just a little bit beyond this first line right here. How did you do? Okay, now see where my finger is right here? Can you find that spot on your shape? Find this spot. So we have this top line right here. It's going to be the next one down right here. Okay, we're going to do the same step a third time. I'm going to draw now it's going to be a vertical straight line, copycat down and go just beyond basically our letter P right there. How did you do? You can start to see the Penrose or that impossible triangle starting to take form, right? All right, so here we go. Take a deep breath. We've got this, team. We're in this together. Here we go. All right, now I'm going to go to the very, very, very bottom right here. Find the bottom of your shape. We're going to start here. And now we're going to make another copycat diagonal line, trying to stay the same distance away from that first line, but this time we're going to make it shorter. Boop, just like that. if I were to draw an imaginary line right here, it'd actually make a straight vertical line. So if you can imagine that, then you've done it right. Okay, I'm going to keep my pen over here because now I'm going to find this line right here. Okay, this is where we're going to start our next line. I'm going to take this and make a copycat diagonal line. Go slow. Try to make it the same distance away from that first line, and I'm going to stop short. Make it a little shorter, just like that. How did you do? Take a deep breath. You got this. All right, now try to find this line right here. It's the one that reaches out the furthest. This is where we're going to complete our Penrose. Here we go. I'm going to make a vertical straight line down and stop short, just like I did on the other two, right here. Now it's time to connect the shapes. Here it goes. I'm going to go from this line with a diagonal line and connect it. Boop, just like that. I'm going to walk up to this area right here where there's an open line and connect it with a straight vertical line. Now you can probably guess that this line right here also needs to be connected with a diagonal line, just like that. And look at that, you've done your Penrose. Now, when you go to color this in, if you're going to use color, you want to make sure that you use 3 colors to really kind of pop out your impossible triangle. And here's the example. If you look here, I used 1, 2, 3 colors, and the colors are all on the same plane. Plane just means basically like a side, right? So here we go. I'm going to grab 3 colors. And again, you can choose any 3 colors that you want. I'm going to choose 3 colors. All right, this very first color, I'm going to put on one plane. So look at this. One plane means that there's no lines dividing up this space. So here I go. I'm going to color it in all the way down. Taking my time, making sure I've filled in all the spaces. Okay, so that is plane number 1 or color number 1, right? Now we're going to move to the next one. Make sure that you can also move your finger up and down the shape like this. And as long as there's no lines dividing it, you're going to do just fine. So here we go. Here's my next one. Taking my time. And again, I know I'm probably moving a little fast, but you can always either pause the video or go back and add to your Penrose. Okay, there's my second color, and you can see I've filled it in on the second plane. Now, here we go, third color. Look, there's no lines making it difficult to color in. It's just a nice smooth transition. Here we go. Adding in my third color. Just like this. Okay, so here we go. This is how you draw a Penrose. All right, now if you need to go back and practice, please do. I'm just going to kind of show you how I had to practice it many, many times as well, and I was not successful for a couple of times. And I was like, oh wait, I think I got it. I think I got it. So it definitely takes practice. So be kind to yourself, rewind the video, and try practicing again and again until you feel confident that you know how to do this shape. And we'll talk about it again next week. Make sure that you bring in your shapes next week because I would love to see how you created your Penrose and the struggles you had, the challenges, and also if you felt successful. I want to hear all about your experience trying to draw an impossible shape. All right. I want to see the colors. I want to see how difficult it was or how maybe it wasn't difficult for you. So I'd love to find out. All right, friends, I will see you next week. Make sure you bring these back next week because we are going to talk about them. All right, have a beautiful day and I will see you soon. Bye.